Now we have a really special guest today. We have Steven Caldwell. Hi Steven, thanks so much for coming on. How are you?
I'm good, thanks Eisha. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this. It's always great to be involved in anything Newcastle United.
Brilliant. Now whereabouts in the world are you now? Are you in Toronto?
I am. I'm in Canada. I moved to Toronto in May 2013. So I'm still here. Great city, great place to live. Obviously, I'm in isolation and physical distancing like we are all over the world right now. But yeah, I'm here and it's just starting to get warm. So hopefully we can start getting out and about soon and getting into some parks and enjoying the weather.
Brilliant. Well, it's nice to hear that you haven't lost your accent.
No, people always say that. When I came to Newcastle back, 1997, it was a big fear of mine that I would lose my Scottish accent and become a little bit English. So I guess I was really thinking about it back then, and my travels throughout England and then obviously over here to Canada, I've just never really changed. Although I'm sure my friends would say that I've mellowed a little bit in my Scottish accent. It doesn't really sound like that to most other people.
Yeah, because I spent like 7 years in India, and every time I'd come back, everyone would be like, whoa, what has happened to your accent? I'm like, I think I just neutralized it so people could understand me well.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to dive straight into how you started. Now, you started your professional playing career when you were 16 years old. You signed for Newcastle United. I want to know, when you signed, were you nervous? Were you excited? What did you expect at the Toon?
I was very excited. I was fortunate enough to have a few options back then, some places that I could go, and one of them was Newcastle United. It was actually the first English club I ever visited from Scotland, and I think it was an October break from school, and I loved it. I loved it from the start. I loved every minute of it, and it was a place I always wanted to be. So when the chance came to sign professionally and then to go down there, it was an obvious choice for me. And back then Newcastle were competing for Premier League titles. They were signing the best players in Britain for sure. Eventually, the best players in the world for a period of time. And everything was positive, and everything was about the success that was going to come from Newcastle.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I mean, you had 37 appearances at Newcastle. So if you had to pick your best memory there, could you narrow it down to one memory that is just a standout moment?
One memory, one game. A tough question, to be honest. I think you always love your debut, don't you? Your first games, first minutes at St James's. I played in a League Cup game against Bradford City. We were winning 3-0. They took us back to 3-3, unfortunately, and there was a bit of panic in the stadium, and then I scored the winner. So that was a big moment for me. My first start at St James's for the first team. I obviously scored the winner. What else? Yeah, that would mainly be it. But playing Champions League at St James's, playing in time-wear derbies. There's so many. It was only 37 games, but to me, the memories that I have are full. There was a lot of moments that I cherish and that I took through my career as being really special to me.
Lovely. Yeah, and you played under many great managers over the span of your whole career, because obviously you went on from Newcastle and you stayed in the Premier League. Now, Sir Bobby Robson, obviously I'm going to ask about, and I'm sure a lot of Newcastle fans do want to know from you. You played under him. You went on to pursue, you're an assistant coach for the national team in Canada. So my question is, what inspiration did you get from playing under such managers? Was there any one where you took their coaching style and you were like, that's what I want to do when I go into coaching?
Yeah, I'd say every single one of them, to be honest. You pick up things that are really important in every manager that you work with, good and bad. And so I was always quite studious, and I'd be watching the managers and not so much thinking about my own coaching or managerial career, but thinking about what was working and what was not, because I was always a leader, fortunately, in most teams I played for. So it was important to me, leadership attributes that would work. At Newcastle, I was so privileged. I had a little bit of Kevin Keegan, even though it was just back and forward from Scotland. It wasn't full time. Then I had my hero, Kenny Dalglish, who was someone I was close to signing for at Blackburn, and then made the decision to come to Newcastle. Lo and behold, when I get there, he's the head coach, and that was a great experience to learn from Kenny and to see how he worked. Ruud Gullit, good and bad, one of the world's greatest players. Obviously, struggled a little bit as a manager, but gave me some great moments. First time I trained with the first team was with Ruud Gullit and Steve Clarke, and so I cherish the moments. And then obviously the great Sir Bobby Robson. What can't you learn from him? There's so much. He's so given with his time. He's such a great manager, brilliant motivator. Many different things that I learned in the 4 or 5 years that I worked under him. So that particular spell was rich with some of the world's best football minds, and like I say, varying degrees of success as managers, but football minds were really special, and so I was very fortunate to have that.
Lovely. Yeah, like you said, you had a great ability to lead people, so that was whether it was playing for Scotland, whether it was in the Premier League, and lucky enough you played alongside your brother Gary, which must have been absolutely wonderful. And obviously right now in the current squad at Newcastle we have the Longstaff brothers, and it's very exciting for us because obviously Matty, he's still very young himself, but there is so much potential there. They're one of our own, they're from Newcastle. It's a very exciting time. Matty's contract is still not actually been secured, so that is a worry at the moment. So I guess my question now is, how important do you think that relationship is for the Longstaff brothers? Because you can draw from your own experience by playing with Gary.
Yeah, I think it's crucially important. There's nothing like playing with your brother. The few brothers in football that have been fortunate enough to play in the same team as their brother, it's just so special. You think of the Nevilles, the Longstaffs, Gary and myself, and the moments that you share as you've been growing up. You've dreamt of that day to be working out there at St James's Park for the Longstaffs. So I actually used to know their dad really well. I used to enjoy watching.
Really?
Yeah, I used to watch ice hockey back when I was a player, and go to the Newcastle Arena and watch David play. He was a very, very good hockey player on a Sunday evening. So, I spent some moments with our dad a long, long time ago, and I've not been fortunate enough to meet Sean or Matty yet, but I'm looking forward to the day that I do. I hear they come to Canada a little bit because their dad's connections with ice hockey as well. So, great guys. I think very, very good football players. Important that Newcastle keeps that identity. Guys like that who bleed the club, who love the club. But my experience with Gary was just amazing. Getting to play with him with Scotland was probably the most special moments in my career. And unfortunately for us, we never played together in the Newcastle first team, but we had many great moments in the youth team and the reserves, and obviously in a little spell at Wigan when we played in the Premier League together also.
Yeah, and speaking of Wigan, so in 2010 you actually made your league debut for Wigan at St James's Park, if I'm not wrong. So I wanted to ask, how was that returning to Newcastle? What was it like stepping back into St James's Park but not wearing the black and white stripes?
Yeah, it was different. Everyone will know I left Newcastle to go and play for Sunderland. And so I was back at St James's with Sunderland in a Premier League game, and that was tough because I was playing for the rivals. So, I was getting a bit of stick. But I think I savoured it a little bit more when I came back with Wigan. I was a bit older, I was a bit more mature, and, it was a big day for me in terms of my Wigan career. But to get back there and to play at St James's, playing against, one of my teammates through the youth team, and Shola Amiobi was playing that day and came on. I think he scored a couple of goals, Shola, and so like really great moments. Great, almost like it came full circle to starting there and going away and coming back. Getting into my 30s and playing that match was really good. Andy Carroll was playing as well. I remember him being particularly strong in the air. He was absolutely brilliant. So I love St James's. It's people often ask me where's the best stadium you played, and it's a hard one to answer. I've been fortunate enough to play in some of the best in the world, but I always answer, well, if I had one more game and I could play anywhere, it would definitely be at St James's Park.
Oh, that's so lovely to hear. Brilliant. So you said in an interview before that you were really great at reading the game and knowing what was best for the team. Now, whether that was in Premier League, whether that was like in national duty, you've obviously gone on to progress in a sports broadcast career. So you're talking about football, watching football, and the passion for football is obviously there. So what I want to ask is, what current player who currently plays now, what player would you say has really similar qualities to how you were as a player in terms of being great at reading the game and knowing what's good for the team?
It's a difficult one to answer. I'm trying to think of players that sort of remind me in terms of their philosophy, I guess, and the way that they play the game. I think maybe a guy like Shane Duffy at Brighton, who, you know, is wholehearted, he's strong in the air, he can pass the ball, but, you know, he does his job as a defender. I admire him. I think he had a brilliant career. I also admire people who, and no disrespect to Shane or anybody else, who really squeeze every inch of their talent out of themselves and their career. And I think Shane's one of the guys. Who else would I say? Just the kind of wholehearted ones. There was actually a couple of lads that came after me at Newcastle. Stephen Taylor was quite similar to me. He was everything on the line. Peter Ramage, a good friend of mine. Throughout the years, we spent some time at Newcastle in the youth team, and then we played together at Birmingham for a little spell when he came on loan, and I still keep in touch with Rami, another guy who just gives absolutely everything. And they're the players that I resonate with, the ones that, you know, are rolling up their sleeves and giving their all for their team, whether it be Newcastle or anybody else. I admire the guys, and they're the ones that I like to watch when I'm analysing games.
Lovely. The proper grafters.
Yeah.
I love it. So now we're just going to talk about present day Newcastle. Now, as you know, and I'm sure you've been doing the same as well, we've been refreshing the news, keeping the news on, just in case there's any sort of confirmation on the takeover. We're yet to get the green light. So we're still a bit all up in the air, although it has progressed further than any other takeover has. So that's a positive. If it does go ahead, in your words, what do you think it would mean to the players, to the fans, and to people like yourself, former players?
I think it would mean a lot, first and foremost, to the city of Newcastle. I think that the fans, you know, live and breathe the football club. They most of them go to work waiting for a Saturday so they can go and enjoy their day out and enjoy their football match. And I think that there's been a lot of times in the last 13 years of Mike Ashley's reign where it's not been quite so enjoyable. They feel like their club has not been given the right leadership that probably it deserves, and I tend to agree with that. So it would be a great moment, and you know, it's the people that make Newcastle. We could talk about great players or the magnificent stadium or any type of ownership money that's spent. It's always the people that come and watch, the people that are on the terraces or in the seats these days. They're what make the football club. And I know it sounds like a cliche thing to say, but I absolutely believe that 100%. I recognised that one of the first times I came to that stadium, that it was about the people, it was about what was happening in the stands. And if you go out there and you leave everything on the pitch, then they'll forgive your lack of ability. They'll forgive mistakes that you make because they'll know that you do it in the right manner with the right intentions. And I'm grateful that I got the chance to play in front of them, because I know that was the case. I was not the greatest player, but I was someone who gave my all. I had some great moments and they appreciated that. And so, I want that for them. And, you know, everyone associated with the club speaks like me. You know, it doesn't matter if you came from London, you came from Scotland, you come from Colombia, you come from wherever in the world. You play some time at Newcastle, you have a deep connection with the club, and it never ever leaves you. So it will mean a lot to a lot of people, but most importantly, I think some performances will improve on the field. There'll be the right resources there to take Newcastle up the league and hopefully challenging for Premier League titles and some honours in the not so distant future.
Yeah. Well, just speaking on behalf of all Newcastle fans, you gave us a lot of memories to cherish. And like you said, yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Like when I told my dad, like, I'm interviewing you, he was like, oh my God, you have to ask this, you have to ask that. His brother Gary, this and that. So the feeling's mutual. And honestly, like, thanks so much for speaking to us, because I can tell that you haven't even thought about what you're going to say. You've just spoken from the heart. And that's what we want to hear. So I think all the Newcastle fans watching will just appreciate the insight and how humble and honest you've been. So thanks so much for that, Stephen.
Thanks for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and hopefully, you know, we see this takeover and we can move forward as a club and enjoy some good things ahead.
Yeah, hope so too. Fingers, toes, everything crossed. Guys, that was Steven Caldwell. Make sure you guys comment below all of the best Steven Caldwell memories that you have. I know actually Sam was there for your league debut when you came with Wigan, and he remembered that, and he remembered how Newcastle equalised. So guys, what memories do you have? Comment below, and we'll catch you guys soon. Thanks for watching.